You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We are live on the road at Spartan Stadium, Pleasant Valley High School. Week one of the high school football season is officially here. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you. We hope it's working. We hope you can hear us. I'm a one-man crew here, Coach, so I got to figure things out as we go. But thank you if you're watching live on X, thank you as well. And, of course, you can check out the show on your podcasting platforms each and every day as well. High school football is officially here. As we mentioned, we're live at Pleasant Valley. There's a little game tonight, Coach, between, I guess you're playing Bettendorf?
Yeah.
For the 100th time in a row to open up the season?
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a beautiful day out. And, the state of Iowa actually if you look across the board, they mark week one as a big rivalry game. Yeah. Dowling versus Valley, City High versus City West, and Bettendorf versus Pleasant Valley. And I'm sure there's some other ones out there as well, most certainly. But yeah, those are three big ones. And out here in Eastern Iowa, this is a big game.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about week one. We'll talk about the rivalry between these two. We're going to get your thoughts on some college football as well. So Rusty's going to hang out with us for a little bit. Also, though, in the show coming up, the guys from View from the West podcast, Mitch and Greg, will take a look at the Illinois side of the river and what's to come tonight on that side as well. And then also we'll be joined by Don Umland. Has he butchered any calls for you back in here at
No, Don does an absolute
Stop it!
great.
You smiled.
No, I know.
You had to think about it. What do you want to do?
No, he's done a great job. He's a really great ambassador for obviously baseball, basketball, and football. And we need guys like that, most certainly.
But he's gotten one wrong.
Yeah.
He's got a lot.
Yeah, most officials have usually got one wrong.
So Don will be with us. We're going to talk about some changes when it comes to high school football this season. And then also the fact that, we make fun of Don, but we need officials. So we'll talk about that coming up as well. He was also on the call last night, not the call, but he officiated the game between Davenport North and Muscatine. Davenport North starting off the season with a 27-14 victory. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. But we'll start where we're at, Spartan Stadium. It is week one, and you see gym class around us and stuff. Coming up here in about 9 hours, this place is gonna be packed. You guys gonna be ready for football. What's a day like today like in the school?
It's exciting. The band goes in the morning. You can tell there's a little bit of excitement in the air. It's Friday. It's the first Friday of the school year for a football game. It's beautiful weather. It's your crosstown rival. So there's certainly there's excitement in the air here. There's an assembly, those types of things, and we're playing Bettendorf, and you can just tell that football season is ready to kick off at the high school level, and no better way to do it than your crosstown rival to get things. This place will be packed tonight. there'll be thousands and the biggest event that Pleasant Valley will host, and I tell this to the kids all the time, and I make no apologies about it. Any event will be a Friday night home game against Bettendorf.
Okay.
It'll be the biggest event athletically event that Pleasant Valley will host, and community comes out, kids come out, alumni come out, people from Bettendorf. And we're really all in Bettendorf. I mean, we've got 2 high schools really in Bettendorf. I mean, we obviously take in LeClaire, which is a big part. But, there'll be a lot of people here.
It's going to be exciting. Before we talk about the game 2, I had you on the show maybe a couple weeks ago, and we don't know. We're building. We're growing. In 2 weeks, has it grown a little bit? Like, where were we from last time we talked to where we are now when it comes to your football team?
Yeah, we're I don't really know. I mean, as far as
it's the fun of tonight.
Yeah, there's a great unknown, and I've been doing it long enough. I have a little bit of an idea, of our team, but you still don't know until you go play someone else for real. And so we'll find out right away, no doubt. But the kids have gotten better and better. They're a good group of kids. They're working hard. And we have gotten better with our execution, and our efforts been there. Our attitude's better been there. There's some concerns I have. Some of the youth, some of the inexperience, but I think they have that too. In many cases. So that's what makes it kind of intriguing. I mean, they lost. They got some kids back, and they got some good ones back. We got some back as well. So, but we got a lot of new faces and new guys, and so it's kind of unknown, really, Matt, how things are going to play out. I always say, hey, we got to have great attitude, we got to play with a tremendous effort, and we got to execute offensively, defensively, and special teams. And we can't turn the ball over. We've got to do what we have to do to give ourselves a chance to be successful. And I've said that for a long period of time now. When we play in 5A and play really quality teams, our margin of error sometimes kind of most teams are, their margin of error is pretty small, but I know how our recipe is to give ourselves a chance to win a football game, and if we do that, it'll be a great game. We'll be in the hunt.
Absolutely. You look at it, we kind of talked about this before, but this is the game, and we're going to hype it up, and the media's going to talk about it, everybody's going to talk about it, and it is a big game, and we know that,
sure.
But it's not the only game. And it's funny because, like, the last couple of years, Bettendorf's won, and you guys have gone on to have really good seasons. While it is the game right now, how do you put that in perspective as well? Because this is just the start of 9 opportunities that you guys are going to have this year.
Yeah, just quickly on the last 2 years, we were both really kind of evenly matched last year, and it was hotter than hell, and we probably had a few more guys going. And I'm not, they made a couple of big plays that allowed them actually to keep them in the game and give them a chance to win the game, and they did. And Coach did the right call, went for 2 and won the game. Yeah. The year before, we stunk. We stunk. I mean, and it was still a tight game at halftime, and again, that was an example of undisciplined, turning the ball over, penalties, dumb mistakes, and you can't do that against a good team. And things got behind us, but we regrouped. Like you said, it's just one game, and it's not where you start, it's where you finish, and that's really kind of what at the end of the day, that's what this game will be. Whether we win, whether we lose, we got to move forward and get better. So that's kind of how I look at things. But it's exciting. I mean, heck yeah. I mean, we're playing Bettendorf, they're playing us. I mean, it'll be a great environment, and again, like you said, it's one game, and it's not where you start. And at the end of the year, the last couple of years, we've given ourselves a chance to, playing against the state champ, taking them to the wire, semifinalists, runner-up, taking them to the wire. So again, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. How do
you tell the kids that? Because I mean, this goofy show's here, but there's going to be other TV stations and things going on, and it's talked about a ton, the Hy-Vee Bowl, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How do you approach Bettendorf week with the kids? Because you want them to be fired up, you want them to know it's a rivalry, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a balancing act?
I probably mellow it out over the years. I'm kind of a chill with some of that stuff.
Did you used to be pretty?
Yeah, I used to be pretty, and some of that was just kind of when we first got going. I knew the gap that had to be closed.
Sure.
I knew the gap that had to be closed, and what it was going to take in not only in the off season but also just internally, the effort. So we've gotten there, and I think, and our teams have gotten tougher and all that sort of stuff. So plus I've gotten older, so I've kind of chilled out a little bit with that. But I'll be amped up, ready to go when the game starts. On a personal level, and I think people would be lying, or you'd be lying if, the last, obviously it's been very stressful the last 5, because I had my kids playing. They both had terrific careers, so you get caught up watching, and all eyes are on you. I'm the only VanWetzinga around here anymore, so that's okay by me right now. So the kids are excited, no doubt. I mean, they grew up with these kids across the way here. I grew up right over there, and I actually went over there and spoke at an event in August for those guys, for Bettendorf, just some tradition stuff. And but it's exciting. I'll be ready to go.
Is that legal? Is that allowed?
Well,
you're not going to get in trouble now that you said that.
They name it after me.
Okay.
So it's my patent. So
there you go.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to anger management about that.
I can't. I don't want him leading anybody, more or less.
He didn't lead it. He just he was over there. So
saying inappropriate.
Yeah. No. It was good.
No, not
but
bad.
it was really kind of part of. And I don't want to sit here and talk about that. I'll let someone from over there talk about it, whether it's Frecking or whoever. But again, it kind of goes into the rivalry of Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley, and Hy-Vee, Merv Hopnick. For a long time we were a 3A school. We were the smallest school, all right, in 4A for a period of time. But obviously the growth has, happened, and that's not the case anymore. Not that makes, it's still difficult winning football games, but that event talks about the rivalry and so forth, and a little bit of those things.
I want to go to the event next time.
Yeah, it's a little run. They got it named. Called the Rusty Run, that sort of stuff, and so that was kind of cool.
How am I not involved with this? Let me in.
The reason is I grew up right behind Bettendorf High School on 29th Street, and half of 29th was Pleasant Valley, half was Bettendorf. You had like Greg Brown and some of those guys that lived up there. Really terrific place to grow up. A lot of great athletes, play a lot of ball out there, and so forth. And I guess they named whatever. I mean, people know about it, so.
I got to talk to you about, you mentioned mellowing out. Is this 18 year, 19 year?
19th year.
19th year. Have you, what is game day like for you now? And can you go back? Because I can remember when I first started doing TV on Friday nights, and I was a nut job. And then I remember as clear as day, I had my oldest, who's now 15. Yeah. And I got home from Friday night. Things didn't go the way I wanted. I was cranky about we didn't get that, and I was just mad. And I got back, and there's my wife rocking my kid at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's like, "Hey, can you just take him? I need to go to sleep." And I grabbed, and I'm rocking him, and I'm like, "Chill out, man."
Yeah.
This is so. Have you seen yourself? Take me from Rusty back in the day to maybe Rusty now. Still obviously intense and wanting to do well and stuff, but how have you?
I just think when you're in a situation like, man, I'm not the only one, or your situation in your high school, there's a lot of eyes on you. Born and raised in this community, my entire family, whether it's Bettendorf, Davenport, Assumption, Bettendorf. I mean, I have a good, North Scott, I have a good sense of tradition, I know a lot of people, and then, your kids kind of do well, do real well, and sometimes that's some pressure there, and I felt that pressure, but I was an adult, but still you still feel it, and then you add game day, and you're the head coach, and it was very enjoyable. I miss it. It goes fast. You got a 15-year-old that goes by real fast, but yeah, I was nervous, amped up, a lot of time on my own, and when things, and we won a lot more than we lost.
Yeah.
I mean, we won a lot more than we lost, and that was a lot of fun, and seeing all those guys, just not my kids, come together as teams and do real well. We came over some internal adversity sometimes that I was really proud of, the 2022 team, the 2023 graduating class, but I after last year, I mean, been kind of a weight lifted off my shoulders a little bit. I'm not, here to make feel sorry for myself or anything, but it's just a fact, and now I can coaching, and I don't have any kids here.
I've had coaches that have talked to me after listening to you on my show before that have kids playing that have texted me and said the exact same thing. I know exactly what Rusty means because it's a blessing and almost and not I won't say curse, but it's a blessing, but at the same time it can be a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's the best way to put it.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and both boys were a little bit different, and they were good players, which I never worried about. Never ever. I go that, but it was just, it was just trying to win, trying to them do well, and and just outside is just there's a lot of things. If something went wrong, it was always magnified because it might have been your kid. Kids make whatever, and you're just like, it just took a toll on me. Not a toll on me, but, it was draining. It was draining, and it wasn't always easy. It was bumpy from times, but it was I wouldn't change it for the world. But and now when they're in college, I just think,
now you get to really
I just feel good about it.
Yeah.
Feel good about where I'm at right now. The only obviously thing I'm a little bit don't hurt me, but I wish I was out in California.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. They're on our picks.
Yeah.
I totally get that, and I understand that. Well, I wish I was out. Well, we can't complain about the weather, but usually California's pretty bad.
Yeah, I never hardly ever
what?
miss
I know
much
you
of their
a little
stuff.
bit. Like, you'd enjoy California and I'm sure you've been there, but you're not California.
Oh, no. No,
You're not
I don't
California
think so.
at all.
I don't think so.
Okay, before I want to do some college picks with you.
Okay.
But what is your game day routine besides knuckleheads like me? Do you have, and even do you have the superstitions? Are you wearing certain things?
No.
Are you chewing certain gum? Are you eating a certain candy bar? Is there anything? Are you just are you lying to me, not telling me that?
We always get together on Thursday, a few of us guys.
Well, don't get yourself in trouble.
No, we go to my garage, watch football, have a few good laughs.
I almost stopped bringing this to the garage.
Yeah, you should. It would be great.
I could have told you could have told Deanne I got to get out of jail free card. I got to go over and help out.
Yeah, Thursday night's kind of my deal. Get together with a few guys and talk about things, and then I'll work out today. Not too different. I'll go home after school.
You will.
Yeah,
I always think with this thing, I'm I'm always about man, I got to get there and get early and all that kind of stuff. But
I'll come and I'll watch the freshmen play, and obviously when Rusty was playing, he played a little bit of as a freshman played, so I'd come over early and watch that game. But no, I'll go home and I get a few things done, and my wife's out of town, so I got to take care of everything.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Got to run to the bank.
No wonder you had people over on Friday.
Yeah.
On Thursday.
On Thursday.
Jeez,
She knows. She knows.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah,
okay, so all right, let's do some college picks.
All right.
It was funny. Somebody said you should do some high school picks with them. I'm like, I don't think that's going to go over well. We can't be picking high school games, especially when you're the.
No.
Okay, so some of them are easy.
Yep.
Iowa City tomorrow, and I got to give a cheap plug. It's the home opener for Iowa against Albany. Make sure you listen to the Hawkeye Tailgate Show, 3:00 on the Hawkeye Radio Network. I got to somehow replace the greats of Jim Albrecht and guys that have done that, but I'm super excited about that. But Albany and Iowa, I know it's pretty easy to kind of pick that one. It's not like it's a Big Ten game, but thoughts on the Hawkeyes tomorrow?
Well, I think they're gonna handle Albany. I think they're gonna probably be able to do what they want. Albany's I don't know. The only thing I know about Albany is I got a pet Great Dane, and they're the Great Danes. I was like, God damn, I should have got a shirt. It's my second Great Dane. So, but no, the Hawks. I think the Hawks will.
Yeah, I think they roll easily as well. And I'm also on the payroll kind of, so I have to pick the Hawks no matter what.
Jim used to do it Albrecht, right?
Yeah.
I remember Jim. Him and I did the steam wheeler, and he was big into the steam wheelers when I was playing, and then
he did. It was funny. I had him on the show yesterday, and he did WQAD. He was the sports director there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I think I might be following your footsteps. And he just got back from Mexico on a beach. I'm like, I really hope I'm following your footsteps, because if that's what I get to do next, that's a good thing. Western Illinois and Illinois tonight. So it's a weird, and I don't know how you felt about it, because it was great football for you and you and the coaches to watch last night, which is probably enjoyable, but I'm just a Saturday football guy. So
I know.
The Friday night stuff is like high school to me.
We actually talked about that last night, and there's college coaches that aren't in favor. I get why they do it. The money, the contract, or the TV contracts, the exposure. But that's the bad. Friday night should be really for high school football, and that's putting me in a dilemma tonight. Like you're saying. But I know Coach Ferentz. I've spoken to him a number of times that he's not really a fan of it. Because for what we're talking about.
And you look at you look at Illinois, and they're one of the most anticipated seasons in school history, and ranked 12th, and now all of a sudden you're pulling away from high school football and all that kind of stuff.
I know.
But anyways, Illinois tonight against Western Illinois.
I think actually I think Illinois rolls them and wins handily, but I think Western Illinois is moving in the right direction. They got out of the conference. I think they got into a better a conference where they kind of not saying compete, but because
Get some
traditionally,
footing,
get some footing going and get going. Coach Wilson's brothers down there from West Des Moines down,
Okay.
and I think after it's been kind of bumpy there for that, for different reasons, but I think they're heading in the right direction. Obviously, they got a lot in front of them, but they're going to get a nice payday playing in Illinois too. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other side you got to look at.
And good exposure too.
Yeah,
I mean,
good
being in the
exposure.
state and playing against state school. Maybe a good one is Iowa State, South Dakota. On paper, you're like, okay, Iowa State, and they played well last week. But boy, can you imagine getting on a plane in Ireland and coming back, and then the South Dakota quarterback used to be a Cyclone.
Yep.
I don't think Iowa State loses, but I think it's going to be interesting.
It'll be contested. I suspect that game. I think Iowa State wins and kind of pulls away at the end just through depth, physicality, and what they do. But South Dakota State is a good football program. They come out of the FCS level, the best conference in that. South Dakota State, South Dakota, North Dakota State, on and on and on. So I think they're going to represent themselves well. I mean, they've made some good runs, and you look at Iowa State. And they're going to be battle tested the following week.
Yeah.
K-State, South Dakota, and then they got the Hawks at home. That's going to be
No, absolutely. You don't want to look ahead if you're Iowa State.
I think Iowa State, I don't mean to interrupt you, Matt.
Yeah.
I think they do a lot of good things offensively and defensively, kind of when you watch them.
It's funny because they win games the way Iowa wins games when Iowa wins games and the way they do. They stay close and then they win in the end and they plays in the end, those kind of things. I think they get the job done and all that kind of stuff. Just an intriguing, I think it'll be closer than maybe people think for a half and then maybe pull away late in that one. Okay, no more softballs, Coach. Let's get some number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. How's that for an opener? 11 a.m.
Wow. Yeah, 11 a.m. I know she was a little later, get a little closer to happy hour. That'd be good. But I'm going to go with Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Ohio State. It's in Ohio State. It's in the horseshoe. You got to go with Ohio State, defending national champs, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Yeah. And they both got the resources and the funds to, have a powerhouse. They're the top of the blue bloods, whatever you want to call them. But I think Ohio State's a tough place to play. Buckeye Stadium, second or third largest. But I get it, Texas, Manning.
Yeah.
But
it's weird because I'll just because we're agreeing too much, I'll take Texas, and simply because I don't know about the Ohio State quarterback yet. Yeah. And here's the thing: it's not like they have a random Joe Schmo. I mean, they're picking between 5-star quarterbacks, so it's not a bad thing at all. But just first game for a starting quarterback in that environment, I'll go Texas, but I don't trust Texas a lot. Right. LSU and Clemson, number 9. So these are the great number 9 versus number 4. LSU and Clemson.
I'm going with Clemson.
Me too. I think they got a chance to win the whole thing.
I do too. I like their coach, even though sometimes Dabo, but he's shown ACC. Yeah. He's not SEC, but he's shown that the ACC, and they're usually been the top of the crop in the ACC, that he's been consistent year in and year out. They're a playoff team. They're national champion. They're runners up. They're that second bowl, before the playoff. I'm going to go with them. Sometimes, the LSU, the coach, sometimes I just
Brian Kelly.
I just think Brian, I mean, he's done well, and they'll be good. I mean, they certainly could win the game. They're extremely talented,
and they'll win 9 or 10 games. That's just what they do in the LSU.
It's just I don't know. Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I really like him.
I think you said enough without saying much.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Dabo kind of does the old school.
He always looks like he's pissing and moaning on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's one, and like Dabo does for a while. He wasn't doing the transfer stuff and all that kind of stuff. He was kind of old school, building the program and going with his guys. I thought that was kind of cool as well. Speaking of Notre Dame. I think it's a Sunday game. Number 6 Notre Dame, number 10 Miami. This takes me back to maybe my young days, where it was Catholics versus convicts.
Catholics versus convicts.
I mean, that's what it was. Nowadays, I might get in trouble for saying that, but there were shirts and everything.
Where's it at?
Down in Miami.
Oh, jeez, man.
And of course, I am biased for Charles Jugasol, the Alabama product, but he's hurt right now. I think I've heard things like October-ish, but not out for the year, but not playing in the opener.
Yeah, you're way better at this than I am, Matt. But,
I'm guessing.
I know, so am I. But I mean, I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I'm going to go with Notre Dame, national runner-up. Again, Miami, I still think Miami's getting their footing. They were relevant, obviously, when we were kids, and then they were good, and then they kind of fell off a little bit. And I think they started making steps in the right direction the last few years. But, Notre Dame, I really like Coach Freeman. I think his message in this day and age is spot on.
Yeah.
I think guys play hard for him. He's a good recruiter. He's Notre Dame, and not taking anything away from Miami, because they have a lot of the same pedigree. But I really like Coach Freeman, and I like Notre Dame going down there and beat Miami.
I got to be a good Catholic boy and just pick the Catholic school. Just my dad would always say go to the Catholic school, so I'll do that.
Yeah.
Last but not least, there's a school from Michigan named Central Michigan heading out to San Jose State. 9:30 tonight.
Yeah.
Just in time to get back home, right?
My hope is to boogie out of here and to go watch it in the garage. I got a buddy, and hopefully my dad, my uncle, and some of the coaches probably come over and watch the game. So hoping for the best for them. It's going to be tough. They opened up. San Jose was a bowl team last year, and they got the old Navy coach, and of course Drinkle was an Army guy, so you got the Army Navy ties there, and
a Bettendorf guy.
Yeah,
you forgot to mention the Bettendorf guy.
Well, I know. Yeah, we all know Drinkle, and then Fulton's on there too.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. I don't know what to think. I really don't. I've been up there a couple times, watch CMU, and they're doing the right thing. They're going in the right direction.
100%.
The guys are excited. Obviously, they've got their hands full of San Jose State, Pitt, and then of course Michigan.
Yeah.
So they got to kind of got the gauntlet there, and it'll start tonight. But and I don't know. I thought the MAC represented itself. They're in the MAC, the Mid-American Conference. I mean, they took teams down to the wire and were in those games for 4 quarters. So I suspect those guys, it's going to be a good game. And I'm picking CMU.
Yeah,
I mean, what the hell, man? I can't.
You better.
Yeah. So
I'm not picking against the VanWetzingas with the dad sitting next to me.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. I think it's really cool to see. I've got college buddies, college experts, they like to call themselves, that like Tom Kakert's not an expert, but he really likes Central Michigan tonight. Like, he was just texting our group and he was like, I like Central Michigan tonight.
Yeah.
So I do as well. It's game one, but and you mentioned it's going to be new, but like, I'm super excited for the future. I can't say enough good things about Coach Drinkle and what he's done.
Yeah.
And I'm getting up to Detroit for a Lions game this year, and we're going to see if it works out. If Central Michigan's playing, we may do the Saturday Central Michigan and then head down to Detroit the next day for the Lions game. So I appreciate. I'm trying to like stretch because I don't think you want to go back into work.
No,
you want to just do the rest of the show?
Yeah. Hey, I got year 29 here, so I'm getting closer.
As long as we can keep you out of there, the better off it is. Enjoy the weather. So hey, I always appreciate
Thanks.
you. Good luck
man.
tonight.
Yeah,
we
thank
appreciate
you
it.
very much.
And get regardless win lose here, go home and watch your boys.
Oh yeah. I'm in a good spot with that.
It's a good Friday to be Rusty VanWetzinga. So we got more to get to on the show. Coming up after this, we're going to be joined by Don Umland to talk a little officiating. Then later in the show, we'll talk about the Illinois side of the river as well. A lot to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, live from Pleasant Valley on a Friday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. We go from one of the best coaches in the area to... Did you hear him talking about you?
Yeah, of course I did.
I feel like you're like, turn into me. I feel like you're you're standoffish.
Okay.
This is
there. Is that better?
Yeah, I guess so. Don Umland joining us. You see Don on the show, and you're like, okay, is he going to talk wrestling? Is he going to talk officiating? You look like you're dressed. You're not wearing your Brock Lesnar hat. You're wearing your officiating hat.
I came with the appropriate attire. Yes.
I love it. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the officiating changes and stuff coming up. But you were on the call last night.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys call it, on the call? Yeah. That sounds more like radio play-by-play.
I was working.
You worked the game. Muscatine and North, Davenport North winning 27-14. Had to be great to just be back out doing it again, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's Brady Street. You know how it is. It's one of our prime places where we have games. It was opening night. North, all teams come in with expectations. Good crowd on the north side. Muscatine didn't have as many as a road game, but North I think has a lot of aspirations with their season, and the fans came out to support it.
I do think, and we've had Adam Hyde on the show, I do think North has high expectations, and it's an opener. And it's an opener for you guys, it's an opener for them. Is there that sense week one where you're just feeling things out on both sides of it?
Yeah, I think, your crew gets together before the season, any good crew that wants to, be better. And we pregame, we go through stuff, but until you get out there and kind of work the kinks out, and that's what's nice about having a scrimmage the week prior. We did 2 weeks ahead, we did an inter-squad. Last week we did a preseason scrimmage to kind of get ready, but you still have some scenarios that occur. But, overall the evening went well. There was no major hiccups. Coaches seemed pleased. It was a good night.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch North get, and Muscatine I think played well. I think they did enough good things to kind of build off of moving forward.
Yeah.
Where are you tonight?
We got Assumption up at Solon.
Okay, so you hit the road for Solon.
Yeah, a little trip.
Going into this year, officiating wise, is there anything people need to know about, get ready for when it comes to rules changes or anything like that?
Yeah, there's really only one really visible rule, and they may not even pick up on it. So college already and pro already has this rule. In fact, I saw it in one of the college games last night. Normally, the old high school rule, if you fumbled the ball and it rolled out of bounds backwards or forwards, you just spotted it where it went.
Yeah.
Well, that could be a tremendous advantage to the offense, because if it rolls forward 20 yards because it got kicked around, that's where we placed it.
Yeah.
If we have a fumble inbounds that rolls out of bounds, we're beanbagging the spot it got fumbled and returning the ball to that spot if it rolled out of bounds.
Okay. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd almost get to the point, I'm surprised teams weren't fumbling it head forward.
Well, that's the thing. You could have fourth down and you're like, oh crap, I'm going to get fumbled. I'll fumble it. Maybe we'll get a first down out of it. So,
when it comes to week one, what do you guys try to do, like officiating wise? I mean, when it comes to, is it more hands-on early when it comes to talking to captains, talking to coaches, kind of reminding people what it's like? I got a feeling like by week 5, 6, 7, 4, whatever, you get used to that kind of stuff. Are you guys conscious in the fact that it is week one and you kind of maybe need to remind people certain things?
Yeah, like in the pregame when we meet with, because we meet with the head coaches prior to a game. Mm-hmm. I've got a checklist of things I ask them. Like who's your captain, who's my go-to guy, the different things. But one of the things I mentioned to them is you understand the new high school rule this year. And both coaches last night said, yep, I'm aware of it and I understand it. Well, I'll be darned, we had it happen once in the game, and they immediately knew what we were doing. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So and then sometimes receivers come out, and then, certain ones have to be on and off.
Well, and new captains, too.
New captains.
And I've heard you guys do the spiel of, okay, you guys are the captains, you be the leaders, blah, blah, all those kind of things. There's some guys who's never done that kind of stuff before.
That's true. And you will want to make sure that when they come out for their coin flips, like when I was standing next to the Muscatine captains, I said, you know what you want to do on the flip. And they repeated it back to me. I'm like, and then one of their assistants went by. He said, you know what we're going to do, right? So you walk them through it, because the worst thing you'd want to have happen, and I would walk them through it. Well, we want to kick the ball. Well, they won the flip and they want to defer. And they say, we want to kick. No, you want to defer, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guide them through that stuff.
Rusty was on here, and you were sitting over there. I don't know if you heard it, but we asked if you were a good referee. He said you were a good official. He did. I said, you ever get one wrong? And we laugh. But when you talk about it, and I like to give you a hard time, but there is a respect factor. How do you want to have relationships when it comes to, because the fans you don't hear, they're farther away in this sport than it is basketball and stuff, but coaches and those kind of things, how do you want to deal with it each and every Friday night when it comes to communicating with coaches, dealing with coaches, those kind of things?
I think coaches would tell you they just want to have our ear. They want their voice to be heard when needed, and not just be brushed off immediately.
Yeah.
And so I treat it as we have a dialogue. We're there for the same intended reasons, to play a good football game by the rules. If something is there's an infraction, I should be able to explain it to them. If they ask a reasonable question, I'll give them a reasonable answer. So I always listen to, are they giving me statements or are they giving me questions?
Yeah.
I'll answer questions.
Yeah.
Statements, I might just let it.
So if they said you're horrible, Don, that's not a question.
Well, might not be wrong. I'm just not going to answer it.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
No, I understand that completely. We've talked, and I don't know if I've done a lot. I've tried to educate people on the need for officials, not just in football, but at every level, back in TV days and then now on this show. And I know it's something that you've done a lot with as well. Is there any footing? Are we getting there? It's still pretty slim. I know that as well, but and it's just about education, in my opinion. Where are we at now as we start a new football season, maybe even a new calendar year when it comes to the rest of the high school sports season?
Baby steps.
Okay.
We picked up a couple of officials that were, well, I'll tell you this, at our scrimmage last week, we had 9 officials there, our 5 and then 4 who were, some were relatively new, some it was their first time. So we're working them in. One of them's a former coach. I won't name names.
I will. Kevin Tippett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said it on our show.
Okay.
I don't think it's a.
So
it's top secret. Sorry, Kevin, if it is.
Okay. Well, Kevin came out and he's worked our scrimmage. He's working a reserve game next week with us. He's going on one of our trips to work the freshman game.
Do you ever say to him, like, it's not as easy as it looks, right?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Did you ever say that?
Well, I've said it to him, and he said it. But he said the spot I want to work to start out is on the wing.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the position he's familiar to seeing the game from.
That makes sense.
Which it made sense. But it was funny when we had the scrimmage at Assumption, the coaches were giving him shit because, look who's over here now. Look who we can talk shit to.
That's hilarious. I love that. And kind of talk about that twofold, because there's still the need. So yes, it's a baby step and adding slowly, but boy, like getting involved, and everyone loves Friday night football. It's so, this show is great because, numbers, I can tell you numbers go up when we talk about high school football on a Friday night. Everybody wants to be involved in some way, shape, and form, and there's a need to be involved at a great level as an official.
And it's not just Friday, Kevin. God, you got me thinking.
Did you call me Ferris?
No. God, no, I'd hope.
Is that Kevin Ferris? Is that what, like
Tippett, Ferris, they all kind of circulate around in the head. No, Matt, I mean, it's not just Friday night. I mean, it's every night between the sophomores and the freshmen and the junior high. There's so many games, and now we're seeing, Thursdays are in play. Saturdays might come into play for varsity.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about, when they play college football. Well, they do that for TV. We're having to do it for different reasons. So that being said, the opportunities are there. It's just, if somebody has an interest, you hope they find somebody. Because we'll get them there.
Yeah.
There just needs to be more dialogue and two-way streets to get them there.
Absolutely. I know we talk about it all the time, but if people want to get involved when it comes to officiating, like, how are they doing it? How are they getting, like, do they just get, can I give out your cell number, or what are we doing here?
Probably the easy.
Don't do that. Don't give out.
Yeah, don't do, if they ever want to communicate, they can always email me, the Don Umland at Yahoo. It's probably the easiest way. You know, I don't want to get bombarded, but in some ways, if somebody's out there, it's like, hey, I just want to know how. Yeah, they could email me it's just Don Umland at Yahoo. You know, then I'll get back to them, or I'll direct them to somebody, because I've got a core of people that have the same vested interest as I do.
No, absolutely. What do you expect? We're going to talk wrestling too, because Don's here. But what do you expect tonight when it comes to? I don't want like pick or anything like that kind of stuff. But just being back. Did you like it out on Thursday night to get used to it? Now, and now you're kind of got your footing as well.
Yeah, that was helpful. I mean, because we talked after the game. Like, one of my officials said there was a couple kinks he wanted to work out, like getting to the goal line. He got there, but he wants to get there a little quicker, and that's just reaction and repetition to plays. You know, so. And believe it or not, we pregame, we postgame, because we want to be better, and we want, if the scenario happens again, we're ready for it. You know, so no different than a team.
I just want to call you after a game and for you to say you didn't nail it. Like, I'll be, how'd you do last night? You're like, I killed it, or I did great, flawless. One time I want you to be like, I messed some stuff up. The guy never messes anything up in his own eyes. That's not true. In his own eyes. In his own eyes.
That's true.
Okay, let's talk wrestling. You're one of our wrestling experts. There is a clash at the castle.
Wait a minute. So do I need to?
You're gonna do it? Yeah.
Do I need to
go ahead and change your shirt?
No, I'm not gonna change my shirt. But you know,
wrestling is real.
Do
you have cats, Don?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came prepared with multiple things. Now, you want me to change a shirt? Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'll change a shirt. Okay, now wait a minute.
Okay, Nebraska hunt. Don.
They won last night.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. That's great.
You know what was great is the T-shirt and the fans last night.
We almost always win. That's what you got. Like, it was 3-10. Yeah. And like they're 3-10 in the last 13. You had to be nervous. I almost texted
Hell yeah, I was nervous. I'm sitting there going, oh, God, I've seen this.
Now, with that being said, hats off. I mean, it's Cincinnati. They didn't play like a directional school. Like,
no, it's a Big 12, Big 10 challenge.
They're not playing Albany like I was playing on Saturday. Yeah. But it's a...
it might have well been a home game for Nebraska, even though Cincinnati was the home team on the board.
So what are your I can't believe you did you look like an entirely different person.
Wasn't that quick?
Yeah, it was. As a Nebraska fan, are you encouraged? Are you frustrated?
I was nervous, but I'll tell you what, Matt, my first thought, I saw what the coach from Cincinnati said after the game. He said, if that ball falls incomplete, we probably win the game. They were in position. Cincinnati was in position to win that game, or at least tie it.
See, I was to the point. They got to a point where it wasn't just go get a field goal.
It was go win the game.
They had 50 seconds at like the 32-yard line.
Even though they didn't have any timeouts, they had ample plays to win the game.
Yeah, like I mean, they had a plenty of. So yeah, but hey. It's game one, and we're gonna everybody. There's going to be a team, and Wisconsin didn't impress at all. They won 17-0 against Ball State or Miami of Ohio, one of the two.
Miami of Ohio.
And then Minnesota didn't look great against Buffalo by any stretch of the imagination. It is week one. I mean, we see it in Iowa City. Iowa will come out, and I think it was last year against Illinois State. It was 6-0 at halftime, and they end up winning by a larger margin.
I think there's something to be said that for Matt. We see the parity in college basketball. You know, we've talked even with less players how. The landscape of college football has clearly changed, and I'm no expert, but the game...
Well, obviously not looking like that.
Well, I understand that. But it does say that the game that you'd pay the X dollars to just get the 56-0 win, those aren't givens anymore.
Yeah.
You're tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you talked like South Dakota's going to test. Some of those, you know, it's not easy.
Yeah. No, with that being said, too, if you can get better and win at the same time... I think it's huge. Like, if you lose that game, it's awful. If you won it, nobody's going to remember that.
No.
If you end up going, hopefully not Nebraska fans, 10-2,
I get it, yeah.
Then, like, nobody remembers that. And the great point is, tomorrow on the Hawkeye Tailgate Show, we pull, I pulled some sound of the Northern Iowa game on 09.
Yeah.
And Iowa went 11-2, finished 7th in the country. They went to the Orange Bowl and won. They should have lost to Northern Iowa to start the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sometimes week one is just about getting out there, getting the kinks out, and it wasn't like I said, a directional school or something crazy. Cincinnati's dumb for moving that game. They must have got a huge payday.
I'm sure they both
because
did.
That was just. I mean, it was crazy in the last
95%.
I don't know why it wasn't. I was texting Joe Conklin about the game. And I should have been texting you about the game.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it. I don't sleep these days. I got too much going on to sleep these days. So, all right, there's the Nebraska stuff.
Yep.
You got Iowa tomorrow? Obviously,
yeah.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
prediction?
Yeah,
Cakert's got him 45-0.
I don't try to make predictions as a sports official.
Oh, that's good. I can't do it. I'm the same way either. I can't do it either.
Is it a game they should win? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's what I think those games do. If you win and maybe don't win pretty, it might expose something that you need to be better at. Nebraska's got to get better at their run defense, even though he couldn't throw it much. But that's what good teams do. They fix their weaknesses.
And I'll give Kirk Ferentz credit, and I'll give Brett Bielema credit, and that's where hopefully Matt Rule can get better. But that's been the problem at Nebraska is they've done the same thing throughout the entire season.
Correct.
So hopefully they, for your sake, not for anybody else's sake, maybe they can fix that.
They adjust accordingly.
The one thing you can make predictions for is professional wrestling. Clash at the Castle is coming up. Okay, you got him there.
Yep.
It's coming up tomorrow. How many matches on the card?
There are 7.
I like how I was hiding my Polar Pop down here.
No, you don't
like
need to
I was
hide it.
Professional or something. I'm like, why am I hiding this?
No, to drink your Polar Pop. I'm going to go get a pop after this. I need a little caffeine.
I get through the day.
Yeah.
That's my coffee. Go ahead.
So it's an afternoon event in Paris on Sunday.
Yeah, 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock here, 7 o'clock or so over there. There's 7 matches.
7?
Priest and Alistair Black.
Okay.
Lynch and Bella.
Well, do you want to pick them as we go?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, Priest and Alistair Black.
That might lead to a title match for one of them. I think it has that one's going to have some implications. Who do I think wins that? That's the one I put a question mark.
I think Black wins.
I think he needs the push.
Mm-hmm. I think that Priest can get away with not winning, put up a good performance, all those kind of things. I think he's got enough equity, if that makes any sense, to maybe take a loss and
well, they've been promoting Black like he's a figure to be dealt with.
I think they want to push him.
I agree.
There's no reason to squash the push by having him lose at a pay-per-view to Damian Priest.
Correct.
Although I do like Priest. So
yep.
Okay.
Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella.
I still think Becky wins, doesn't she?
Yes.
I think
she finds a way to win.
But I think it maybe moves forward. I think it's one of those where she wins in a goofy way and that continues, and it may be another match at WrestlePalooza and then maybe another match at Survivor Series.
Yeah, because
I think we might get 3 of these.
Because they have a nice little war of words going.
Yeah.
And they give people who are like, oh my God, she said that and said that. They got personal, which we know when you interweave reality.
Make it real.
Make it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cody Rhodes and who's Cody wrestling?
You can't read your writing, can you?
Oh, McIntyre.
Oh, that is right. It's going to be Cody. They're not going to take him off him right away. That's the frustrating things about some of this is because and even my kids are starting to realize, like my younger ones are like, well, Daddy just got the championship. They're not going to take it off him right away.
I love Mac. Every
he
time
deserves a good championship run eventually, doesn't he?
He's the best, one of the best heels they have right now. He comes out. I'm like, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'm always interested.
But with that, do you have Cody?
Yeah,
fatigue?
I have him win it. Huh?
You have Cody fatigue?
A little, yeah, and that's why we watched the Unreal series. I did. I think you've.
I'm trying to, Don. I'm just trying to. I'm doing 800 different shows.
I get it. What do you do with somebody to avoid fatigue? Not what they did it with Roman Reigns. Not have them on TV as often, so you look forward to when they show up.
No, I wanted him to go away after WrestleMania for a while, and they took a month off, and he was back. And I was like, don't do this to me.
Yeah.
Like go away for longer.
Kind of like John Moxley fatigue.
It's no fatigue because I don't watch it.
Oh, there you go.
All right, next one.
Roman Reigns and the big boy, Mr. Reed.
Well, Roman's not losing that
for the shoes to get the Shufala.
Roman's not losing it, which is disappointing. I love Roman Reigns, and so
he's not going to lose.
He's not going to lose, but boy, wouldn't it be nice to?
Something's going to happen where people come in. It's just how do they weave them in?
Yeah.
And what's the result?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they. I think Roman wins.
Ready for a Donnybrook? Rusev and Sheamus.
Are you into this or not?
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of both. Now, are people like geeked up about it? But every time they've wrestled, it's been I hate to use the term, it's been a banger match.
Who did they do the 7-match series with? It was Mello and who? And they were good.
They were all good.
And towards the end, I was like, okay, now I'm into this. I think that's what they're heading with this, where they may do 7 of these.
They beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. No, I get it. They do.
And they're both good performers.
Yeah.
So, I think Rusev wins.
Yeah.
I think again, if you're going to push him kind of like Black, you want to make him relevant. He's kind of got to win.
Yeah, I would like to see it, and I think Sheamus is Sheamus, and that's not a bad thing. But I think he's got so much equity built up that people appreciate him and all those.
Sheamus will ultimately win an intercontinental match, which will complete his career Grand Slam some point before he retires.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Here's where it gets fun. Cena Logan Paul.
Cena's winning.
Cena's winning, but it's going to be fun.
It's just two different styles because there's the whole like Cena can't wrestle thing, which I don't think is true, but he's a 50-year-old trying to wrestle. And then I think Logan Paul, I know people hate him. I got buddies that can't stand him, but he's a good wrestler.
Oh, I mean, he's such a good performer.
Yeah. No, he's a really good performer. So, but Cena wins.
And here's what I
don't know if Cena loses again.
Well, he's got Lesnar and probably at WrestlePalooza.
But I don't think he loses.
I don't think he does either, but I'm sure we're going to see how I want to see how they work it.
And I'm curious about his last match because so many great wrestlers lose their last match.
That's true.
Flair.
Do you know whose contract expires in October with AEW?
Jericho.
Well, his isn't. I don't think he's available till January, but there's somebody else. Cope. And
call him his name.
I'm giving his
Edge.
Edge would, in theory, if he does not re-up, would be available in December.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that would be a great last match.
So absolutely.
We'll wait and see.
All right.
Rollins, Uzo, Punk, Knight for the belt fatal 4-way.
As my son Chasey said, they're not going to give it to Rollins in one of the best cash-ins.
You may not take it off of him.
They're not going to give it to him in one of the best cash-ins ever and then take it off him later.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be weird, and I think it'll probably set up it. What it's going to do is it's going to take CM Punk away from Rollins for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be WrestleMania.
Does somebody emerge of those three to face Rollins at WrestlePalooza?
Yes.
LA Knight?
Yeah.
Just kind of owed it?
Yep.
Probably.
Yep. And that kind of punts it and keeps it down the road because I think that's what they're muddying the waters because they know the big payday is Punk and Rollins. And then there's Rollins and Reigns that it's down the road too.
Yes.
That's maybe a WrestleMania main event as well.
And you know in 4 ways anybody can come in and do their shtick, you know, to upset the apple cart. So we'll see.
This has been great. I can do this all day. Like I even forgot that people can't be watching. I don't know if they are
we
watching.
Talking about football? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we start with football and then Don does a
wardrobe change.
I can't wait to send this out to our group.
Wardrobe change.
When you see the wardrobe change, you gotta go. I'm waiting for you to have like an RKO everybody shirt on underneath that or something like that. No, don't check. Don't check.
I'm just checking something.
Enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah.
Enjoy the trip to Seoul and all that kind of stuff. And I'll talk to you this weekend sometime. We'll probably watch wrestling together.
Be great.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Don Umland joining us here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coming up next, we're going to go to the Illinois side of the river and talk about the big night of high school football. No better guys to do that with than Mitch and Greg from View from the West. We'll have that for you and much more. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on the road on a Friday at Pleasant Valley High School. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high, each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfathers is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We're on a Friday in the Quad Cities at Pleasant Valley High School. Of course, it's a loaded Friday night on the Iowa side of the river. We'll go down some of those games here in a little bit, but I wanted to hop to the Illinois side and two guys that cover it better than anybody, Mitch and Greg with View from the West. I caught up with them last night because, Don, they have real jobs, and they couldn't do this at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we chatted about and got ready for what should be an entertaining week of football coming up tonight. So here, without further ado, the boys from View from the West. So let's talk high school football and on the Illinois side of the river. And when you want to do that, there's two dudes that everyone seems to be turning to. Greg Armstrong from View from the West, and for the first time ever on Off the Air, Mitch Stormer has appeared. Welcome, my friend.
Hello. It's good to be here. I wanted to make my debut in person, but geography sets us apart, but technology allows us to do this. So happy to be here. Finally got the invite to be on the show.
And I want you to know, I've been a Mitch guy from the jump. I tell people, everybody that listens, I'm a Mitch guy. I'm not a Greg guy. I'm a Mitch guy.
I have waited for this moment my whole life, or at least like a few months.
Same thing.
That's
Same
fair.
thing. So,
yeah, exactly.
I guess before we get rolling, high school football season's here. And it's funny because, like, I was talking with Pat Anger yesterday about how, like, I'm almost tired of talking about Iowa football. Because, like, it's just, you can only talk about the storyline so much. And then we finally got to week one. It was like, it's Albany. It's how much can you talk about? And it's like, that's where I'm at with high school football. Like, I know you guys have extensively done previews. I've talked to like 32 coaches over the last 3-4 weeks on both sides of the river. I'm just ready for football and for games. Do you guys feel the same way? I guess we'll start with Mitch since he's the new guy.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. We said it on the show on our most recent episode. It doesn't feel – I don't think it still feels like we're here, right? It feels like we were just at Illinois State for the state championships and that we were just talking about summer workouts starting. And now here we are, week one. It doesn't feel real, but we've got a short amount of time before it does. So, couldn't be more excited. And there's a great slate of games here in week one, and I really think it's going to set up a pretty incredible year.
Yeah, I'm excited for the year. Week one's great. Greg, talk about, before we get going into the games, because the View from the West expanding as always, and not just the instant reacts you can catch tomorrow. You can tune in tonight and watch and listen live as you two, and I think you're gonna let me on there if this link is legit, and others, the coaches and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited about that era of things because View from the West will be live at 10:15.
Yeah, really excited about that. Now, View from the West, being that we are an Illinois-based high school podcast, Mitch and I are always sick of talking about Iowa, just for the record.
You wanted to say that when I mentioned it.
I was
but
so bad, yeah.
Hey, you got to be nice. I'm employed by Iowa, so I can be a homer
That's
these
true.
days. It's true. So,
That's
but
true.
the stuff tonight's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so really excited about, like, every year Mitch and I kind of talk about, like, what can we do to keep kind of evolving or do something bigger and better every year. And this year I felt like we kind of put that in, like, hyperdrive, where we did a live show to kick off the season. And now the instant reacts, instead of just being recorded late on a Friday into a Saturday morning, we're going to go live at 10:15, and we're going to go live for about an hour and a half. And I think the idea being that's when people are hounding, Twitter or X, or, they're looking for scores. They're talking about what happened. And we want to kind of create that conversation and let people join us. And in the live format, they can comment on YouTube and we can react to their comments. And, we can hopefully get some coaches, some student athletes in right after games to really just kind of, celebrate all that happened on a Friday night and really break it down.
Yeah, I think everybody just wants to talk about it. That's the beauty part, is they want to talk about what they saw, what it means, big picture stuff. They're excited or they're cranky. Either way, I'm curious about that side of things. How many fan things are going to be cranky about their team losing? Hopefully, people think positive with it as well. Western Big Six. I think I want to start with that, guys, and I think I'm with Mitch on the season, where I got UT winning the conference. I believe Mitch is the smart man on here that agrees with me. Moline's obviously going to be very good as well. Quincy's going to be great as well. Mitch, I'll start with you. When you look at week 1, what game intrigues you the most as we get rolling?
Yeah, well, and as every season, these first 2 weeks in the Western Big Six, right, doesn't have much to do with the Western Big Six standings, because these are all out of conference games, but you get a general sense of what the following 7 weeks are going to look like, right? We see that with Moline last year playing a great game against Rockwood Summit, who they'll play again this year, and kind of what transpired following that game. So just looking at the week 1 schedule here in the Western Big Six, I think the most intriguing game, I think there's 2. The most intriguing to me is UT hosting LaSalle Peru and Geneseo going on the road to Rochelle. I think both of those 2 teams are going to make a leap from where they were last year. As you just mentioned, UT was my pick to win this conference with what they have coming back. But as we mentioned on our Western Big Six show, you could name 4 different schools in the Western Big Six as a prediction to win the conference, and I could see the path. But again, Quincy is the 2-time unbeaten defending champions, and we're kind of counting them out. Will not surprise me if they run the table once again.
No, absolutely. Greg, what pops out to you when you look at the week 1 schedule in the Western Big Six?
Well, I think what could end up being the best game would be a repeat of last year's best game in the Western Big Six in week 1. That's Moline going on the road to Rockwood Summit. I think that Rockwood Summit team, I don't know a lot about them, but from what I've read, they've gotten a little bit better since last year. And I think this Moline team, going back to week 1 of a year ago, is better than they were a year ago. So I think that sets itself up for a great rematch of 2 teams that were very evenly matched in Moline a year ago. But Mitch, you kind of mentioned it. I really want to see this new look Quincy squad on the field. Now, it's hard to gauge when they're going up against a team from Missouri, similar to, we know a little bit about Rockwood Summit because we saw them last year, but this Quincy team, a new opponent out of Missouri, I just want to see, regardless of the opponent, this Quincy squad on the field and kind of get a sense of maybe what we're looking at heading into the Western Big Six play.
No, absolutely. I think it's going to be fascinating to see. And it's funny because, what was it, at the Western Big Six banquet, somebody asked me, like, what is the winning streaks? And I think it was even at the podium, Coach Little goes, text stocking and find out what it is. And sure enough, right away back, it's a 15-game Western Big Six winning streak. The last loss was Sterling, 34-28, in overtime at Finn Stadium on September 30th, 2022. They've won 21 straight regular season games. I know people, Mitch, people expect them to take a step back maybe, but if anybody thinks they're just going to go from being this powerhouse to not very good, I think they're sadly mistaken. There's a culture being built there, and there's still good talent there as well that maybe didn't get to shine because of probably the best 2 years. It was the best 2 years in school history.
Well, the counterpoint to that is they did get to play because those games were over at halftime for the last 2 years. So, yeah, this will be a new look Quincy team, but we've been talking on the show. These are kids that have had a lot of playing time. I think Quincy is set up to handle a situation where they lost so many starters better than probably any other team in the Western Big Six right now, just because, again, you had these kids playing in the third quarter of most of the games last year. So they get a transfer quarterback in from Quincy Notre Dame, so they're going to have a big arm at quarterback once again. You're going to see some playmakers that you saw last year. But, again, don't count out Quincy. I think they are still going to have a very good chance to win this conference.
Greg, in the city of Rock Island, it's a big night. Both schools are at home playing varsity football. I mean, Stockpile would know the exact date that last time it happened before, but it hasn't happened in 2 years at least because Alleman hasn't had a team. Talk about those two. Maybe start with Rock Island because they play a 5A school, I think a 6A school in Kalen, where a winnable game, but a good game, and a good test week 1 for them without their starting quarterback for at least this week, maybe next week as well.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough way to start because he was at least a little bit of familiarity or a name they were excited about heading into the season. When you talk about Quincy being a little bit unknown, Rock Island graduated 22 seniors last year. So they're fresh, they're young, right? And maybe that's good. There's opportunities for players to make names for themselves. This is a test in week one. I mean, Maple Park Caneland, as we all probably know, and a lot of people listening know, they're a perennial playoff team. They make some playoff runs. They're a very good, solid overall program. Like, you're not going to see many down years, like down and out years from Maple Park Caneland. So I think that it's a tough test for them. But, I was over in Rock Island for their week 0 scrimmage, and you saw some flashes, right? Some guys getting to the edge and really blowing past defenders, outrunning some people down the sideline, really making some moves. And so I think that there's reason to be optimistic there that things will get better. I don't know how much better, but again, it's like all these teams, like you kind of want to get eyes on them in week 1 to see what they look like. And then, looking down the road to have Allman at home in week 1, I think it's just, I'm glad the schedule works out that way. I think just to the anticipation and not have to wait a week or two to get a home game, I think is great. I think regardless of how the season plays out, I think it's going to be a fun night to have varsity football back, because not just the players, but the Alleman community has kind of been longing for this, right? To get back to this kind of normal setting of like football on a Friday night. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. That should be a great atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, you mentioned the community, the students. It's weird that I had a freshman last year and he didn't have a football game to go to on a Friday night because they didn't have any games. So it's alumni night. They're going to remember some of the coaches that have participated in the program. And I hear their PA guy tomorrow night is going to be
here we go.
Pretty good. Yeah, they convinced me to do PA. So just for game one. Just for game 1.
Are they honoring the amazing, highlights of Matt Randazzo's football career?
I don't know if we have enough time for that because there aren't many.
I know where your St. Ambrose highlights are, Dazzo. Let's not pull those out.
Yeah, the highlights are the bloopers when it comes to TV stuff as well. Greg Armstrong and Mitch Storm are joining me right now, the boys from View from the West, previewing the Illinois side of the river. The Western Big Six looks like this. I think we kind of hit on everybody. The only one we've been actually. Let's talk about Sterling and Metamora real quick. I know that John Schlimmer is always like, I don't know how we'll be. And I know they're going to be young. And then he says it's not an excuse. It's just a fact. But they're always good. They're Sterling. I think they've made the postseason 10 times in a row. But that's a heck of a test week 1. I talked to Jim Matson on the show a few days ago, kind of previewing Illinois, and he mentioned how excited they are at Metamora for what should be a good season there. I don't know which one wants it first. Maybe Greg. Thoughts on Sterling Metamora tomorrow night?
Again, like a lot of these games we've mentioned, this is a tough test. Sterling going on the road to a Metamora program, again, that's always good. I think they'll be good again this year. For Sterling, I think that they were a playoff team a year ago, but I think overall, when you look at their body of work, they need to be a little more consistent offensively, especially in the run game. I think they really couldn't get a whole lot of positive momentum. They have some returning starters. They have some skill players back, so that'll go a long way in helping that out. But it starts up front too, right? So developing that line play to help out your run game. But I think that's the big thing. It's just getting a little more out of your offense will go a long way.
Yeah, and Galesburg is at home tomorrow. Is it home or at Dunlap? I think it's at home. Oh, it's at Dunlap. I think it's at – anyways, Galesburg –
I believe it's at Dunlap.
Galesburg.
It's at Galesburg.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Right, Mitch? I
trust
Mitch.
Galesburg, yeah.
I trust Mitch. But Galesburg and Dunlap tomorrow night. And you know what? I did the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet last Sunday and got to eat with and chat with Coach Hickey, who I didn't really know very well until that. And a great time, really personal guy. Has 3 sons in the program, 2 playing and 1's back as a coach with him this year. So that's cool. But he talked about how hard it was last year. He had like 4 weeks before they had to hit the ground running and going. So I know it's a building process. I know they like their younger parts and their younger kids. The seniors will be key as well, but a tough task against a Dunlap team who's got a tight end going to Alabama, I believe. So it'll be a tough test for Galesburg week 1. So in the Western Big Six, it's Caitlin at Rock Island. It's Walther Christian at Alleman. LP at UT. Geneseo goes to Rochelle. Sterling's at Metamora. Boonville is at Quincy. Moline going down to Fenton in Missouri. And Galesburg and Dunlap, that game in Galesburg, according to Mitch. And any complaint emails, if that's wrong, goes to Mitch. I'll give the email out after that. It's funny because I said to you guys, hey, just come on. We'll talk.
Please check before you go to Galesburg.
Yeah, we'll talk about the West. We'll talk about the Western Big Six. I'll talk like what game you like, what game I like, and what game. And we just went through the whole conference. So we'll go a little quicker through some of the other conferences. And I want to go back to Mitch, and I'm going to give you the biggest softball ever given on a show. What game stands out to you in the Three Rivers tonight?
I'm gonna throw it right back out to you. A curveball your way, because I'm going to go differently than what you think.
Ooh.
And I'm going to leave that for Greg, because I'm intrigued by Monmouth Roseville going to Mercer County, truthfully. I think that what Mercer County has coming back, the players that they have coming back, kids that missed last year, their seemingly entire starting offensive line, new coach. I'm really excited on what the Golden Eagles are going to look like this year. Certainly you talk about Monmouth Roseville, always a great program. So I know that Greg's going to talk about Princeton and Newman. I get it. But I'm really intrigued for Monmouth Roseville and Mercer County.
Yeah, it should be a great game. And that's the thing with this conference. Every week, it's going to be awesome when they come to matchups and crossing over and all that kind of stuff. All right, the softball gets lobbed over to Mr. Armstrong. There is a little game in Sterling between two teams that most people pick to win their respective divisions.
We talked about it on the podcast, that I think that it's not hard to think that this could be the de facto track championship, right? I know it's only week 1. There's a lot left to be played, but on paper, these are probably the two favorites in their divisions, and you started in week 1. It's a great way to kick off the season. I'm really excited for the obvious, right? To see Casey Etheridge back on the field again for this Princeton squad. And just, he seems like he's been around forever, right? Finally, his senior year. And when you hear Coach Pearson talk about this is a group that's hungry and they're motivated, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. And I think maybe you hear a lot of teams say that, but man, when it comes from a program like Princeton and they're playing angry, I think that means a whole lot more. I just think that that's really, really interesting to hear. On the Newman side of things, you start off at home, and there's a lot of hype around this Newman team. I think that they continue to get better year over year. And I think this is a year that they could be a really good year for Newman. When you look at, the foundation they have in Evan Bushman at quarterback, the transfer coming in from Morrison and Rylan Alvarado, and just Blackert, Jungerman, a handful of other athletes that are going to be on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. Mitch and I on the podcast talked about Princeton's offense. If you had to pick any coach in the area to defensively scheme against it, I'm going with Mike LeMay. I think Mike LeMay is one of the best defensive-minded head coaches we see anywhere. So that makes for a really great matchup here in week 1. You're
right, because when Newman's thought of, and I remember some great early season matchups with Newman and Rock Ridge would have this high-powered offense and all of a sudden it'd be a low-scoring game, and I'd be like, what? Because Newman's so good on defense and scheming, and how scary is it if Princeton's got a chip on their shoulder? And it's all because they lost one game during the regular season and they didn't win the conference. They did go to the state quarterfinals. If I think a lot of programs would trade in one loss during the regular season in order to get to the quarterfinals, but when you've been rocking and rolling like Coach Pearson has down in Princeton, it's been pretty special. The one that kind of stands out to me, and those two both are really good, Kewanee and Erie Prophetstown is one that kind of pops out to me because, and you look at a lot of schools, you look at Riverdale, you look at Orion, you look at Rock Ridge, all these teams expecting big things. Kewanee is too. I think Kewanee feels like that they should be in that upper echelon in the Mississippi, and they go on the road to an Erie Prophetstown team that returns a lot and is expecting big things. So interesting to see how that game goes week 1 and who kind of comes out on top with that one. So in the track, it's Monmouth Roseville and Mercer County doing battle down in Aledo. Princeton and Newman. Is there a pick on that game? Did you guys on the podcast pick it?
We picked
it with
games through WRMJ and Ty Taylor.
Okay,
Yep.
So what can you share?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. By the time this gets aired, it'll already be out there.
All right, and Greg,
I also took Princeton.
Okay. I'm going to take Newman.
I will. Okay.
Because I'm a Catholic
I will say,
kid.
getting back to Mitch's first game, I did take Mercer County to win that one, which maybe some people would.
Why do you hate Coach Adolphson?
So
Coach Adolphson came all the way up to the
get...
show, and then you're going to throw him under the bus like that week one? Man,
Bad.
Unbelievable.
Sad.
And he gave his wife a hat and everything. She's probably at home wearing the View from the West hat right now, just listening to this with a tear going down her eye. Unbelievable, Armstrong. Princeton and Newman, we talked about that. Sherrard Rock Ridge, obviously a great rivalry when it comes to schools. Football's been lopsided a little bit in recent years, obviously. Hall and Orion, Chip Filler will be coaching that game. We've talked about that a little bit during the week here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Mendota and Riverdale, and then Kewanee and Erie Prophetstown. Let's sneak into the LLC because, and of course, you guys cover everything. The closer games kind of in our area a little bit, and I don't even know why I do that because my show goes to everybody. So it's not like I have a viewing area anymore. So I kind of kept it a little. But what stands out? And I guess we'll go to Mitch first. What stands out in that conference week one for you?
I think week one, we look at really an out-of-conference game because I'm interested to see what Pat Elder and his Bureau Valley Storm look like in week one. It's a tough game going on the road to Prue St. Bede. Prue St. Bede will have a tough squad. I think, Greg, what do we say their quarterback's name is? Gino Ferrari? Like, that's a tough beat.
That's right.
But I really think that this program was on the up with Coach Pistol, and I think Kevin Hieronymus called it a home run hire, right, for Bureau Valley to get Pat Elder. So intrigued by that for a game. I do want to see how Farmington looks. I think they'll have a new look this year, but this is a defending conference champion on the large side and a semifinalist in 2A. They got to reload a little bit. They got a lot of talent coming back. Winnable game here in week one, but kind of like Quincy, just want to see what this new look team looks like, but I expect big things out of them.
Greg, what stands out in that conference to you?
So getting kind of farther out of the Quad Cities, looking down more closer to Quincy, Macomb at Rushville Industry. I think those are two teams that could end up being, that I think will end up fighting for the top of their respective division in the Lincoln Land. So it's a crossover game, but I think with a lot of talent on the field. I believe Chris Dewar from Muddy River Sports is going to be there. Yeah. So if he picks it, it's a big deal game. So that's one I want to see for sure. I think overall, I think we're going to learn a lot in week one. I mean, in any conference, you're going to learn something because you see these teams on the field for the first time. But there's a lot of, regardless of results, I think you're going to see how did this team compete with this team and what does that mean moving forward? When you're talking about Anawan Weathersfield and A-Town, or South Fulton and Stark County, Roval Williamsfield United, and Havana Princeville. I just think there's a lot of, you're just going to kind of get an idea of where it all sorts out here in week one.
Can we have Chris Dewar on the Instant Reacts one day?
Yeah, if he's available. I'd love to have Chris Dewar on.
Yeah, he's just one of the best of the best.
Depending on how that Macomb Rushville Industry game goes, if he's around and available, you can talk about what he saw. That might be. We're producing the show as we. Yeah. Do they do a live show? No, they're moving it to Monday, right? Their live show is now on Monday because they want to encapsulate college results too.
There you go. I guess we're gonna start. Yep. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Before I let you guys go, the other schools we haven't talked about, and the UIC and the Fulton's up there, and Galena and all that kind of stuff. Give me one game that we haven't. Maybe it's the 8-man rematch of a state championship. What other game that we haven't talked about? Can you guys give us a little capital of? We'll go Greg first this time.
You already called it out. Milledgeville at Amboy. It's a rematch of the 8-man state championship game. That's actually the second year in a row that week one has had the rematch of the 8-man state championship game. So kind of wild the way that played out, but I'm excited for Milledgeville this year. The Missiles bring back some talent. They look really good. Amboy has some questions. They graduated a lot last year from a team that had been playing at a very high level and dominating 8-man football. So I think that it's a little more open this year. That's the game I'm looking at for sure.
Mitch, what do you like?
I think when you look at the NUIC, I think all but one game have a pretty big favorite in those games. So I look at Fulton going to EPC, Eastland Pearl City. I think that's a game that's really going to be a determining factor as to who might get to 5 wins between those two teams. Fulton just missed out on playoffs last year. EPC made it to playoffs. Every single week in the NUIC is a big game, and we talked about it on the show where you don't want to be looking back at week 1 when you're in week 9 needing a 5th win and thinking of what you could have done better. So every week is going to be big in this conference, but these two teams especially, I think are going to be fighting for that playoff spot. So Fulton at EPC is going to be a great one.
All right, before you guys go, I'll start with Mitch. Year 6, season 6, year 7, whatever it is, the weird math of this thing. Mitch, when that knucklehead called you up and said, "Hey, let's start this," the way it's grown and the footing that it's gotten, kind of just talk about that. Did you ever think it would get to what you guys are doing? And people, honestly, when I say View from the West, they're like, "Oh yeah, I listen to it all the time." That's got to mean something, doesn't it?
It absolutely means something, and I don't know if I had expectations on where we would go, but what I knew that people would be interested in it because I had the same interest. I think fans of our show know that I don't even live in the area anymore. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, and granted there are technological reasons that make this possible, but I think if you talk to anybody who's played high school football in the past, they think about it once a day. And it's not to relive glory days or anything like that. It's such a big part of your life when you're 18 years old. And to see kind of where the media landscape was going and maybe not having the coverage that I got when I was playing, it was an opportunity. And so I'm glad that Greg brought the idea to me to join with him. And I think our love for the sport and love for the area and these programs just continues to grow every year. And for fans to kind of come on board with that and support us and keep growing it the way that, that we've been growing it, it's been great. It's been such a blast. I think this will be our best year yet. We've got a lot of great things in store. But again, it's all about giving the kids the coverage that they deserve because this is a great sport. It's a great area, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Greg, give us the rundown of what people, where do they go? There's Twitter, there's YouTube, all the podcasting platforms. I'm doing it for you now. Tell people how they can check it. I've been the biggest fanboy. I'm serious. I've been the biggest fanboy of View from the West for a while now. And Mitch kind of hit on it. We grew up watching it. We grew up reading about it. We grew up around those things. And it's not bashing anything else that's going on. It's just that everything's evolved a little bit. And as everything evolves, media has to evolve with it. And I think you guys have done a good job of encapsulating that as well. So anyways, enough being nice to you idiots. How do we watch it? How do we watch it?
So the best place to find us, go to YouTube, search View from the West, subscribe to us, like what you see out there. You can find our full-length video podcasts out there. Find us in audio form in anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Google, all the rest. But no, we do a weekly episode every Tuesday morning that comes out. We kind of look back on the week that was, then we preview the week ahead. But then this year, for the first time, we're going to have a lot of fun on Friday nights. Like we talked about, we'll be going live on YouTube at 10:15. We'll be sending out the link to, and we'll have it out there. Go find it on our X account. It'll be the pinned post at 10:15. Check us out on YouTube. We'll be talking about what happened, talking to some head coaches, talking to some other media members, maybe some student athletes, and just having a good time talking about high school football.
Yeah, people who are watching this, I will also pin it on my YouTube as well so that you guys, I'll retweet it and put it up there as well so that we'll have some fun tonight. Is Brian Stocking joining us tonight or not? Have we ever figured that out?
That's kind of the to be determined, because if it's 10:15, he's still probably tied up with obligations from WQAD, which I understand.
Yeah.
But maybe we could try to talk him into later in the show. We'll see.
Yeah. I just assumed he wanted more money. Like he's holding out Micah Parsons to get more money. It makes sense. Yeah. So, boys, enjoy your Friday nights. It's the best, one of the best. I love week 1 because that means we have more ahead. I kind of get sad around 8 and 9 because it's ending. So this is just the beginning. It should be a ton of fun. I look forward to chatting with you fellas tonight on the View from the West podcast reacts, and enjoy week 1, boys. I appreciate it.
Will do.
Always great to be joined by Greg and Mitch from View from the West. Don't forget, we mentioned it. Get to YouTube tonight. Go to View from the West, their YouTube page. I'll put it up on my social media as well. Live show at 10:15, breaking down everything you need to know on the Illinois side of the river when it comes to high school football. It should be a lot of fun. Interviews with coaches, stats, breakdown analysis, all the kind of things that you look for after the games on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. Well, we got one more break to get to. Coming up, we'll wrap things up at Pleasant Valley High School. We've taken off the air on the road once again. We're live at Pleasant Valley High School, Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley. The main game, the huge rivalry game tonight to kick off the high school football season. All that and much more. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo live from PV on a Friday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad City parents, tired of the same old weekend routine? Well, listen up. Saturday night, April 26th, it's free youth jersey night with your Quad City Steamwheelers. The first 500 kids 12 and under score a free official Steamwheelers jersey just for showing up. That's right, free gear, big plays, and non-stop family fun. It's IFL football action and memories that'll last a lifetime. Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and make it a night your kids won't forget. Presented by Crawford Company.
Please join us April 24th through May 3rd online for the 28th annual Chuck Long Charity Auction presented by Atlantic Bottling Company. This year's event features over 200 amazing items. The more bidders we have, Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. We are at Pleasant Valley High School as the Pleasant Valley Marching Band kind of does a practice as we get ready for a big night of high school football. The Pleasant Valley Marching Band is one of the biggest in the entire state of Iowa. 285 students taking part in the marching band at Pleasant Valley, and they sound pretty darn good for week one of the high school football season. Of course, we've talked about it throughout the show. It is week one of the football season for high schoolers. Also, basically week one when it comes to college football as well. Don't forget tonight, opening night of the high school season. View from the West will be doing a podcast live on YouTube at 10:15. I'll be part of that as well. Excited to work with those guys as always throughout the year, Greg and Mitch. So make sure you tune into that as well. And then don't forget college football kicking off this weekend as well. The Big Ten starting last night with 3 games. Wasn't pretty, but Nebraska, Minnesota, and Wisconsin all surviving in week one. Hopefully the Illini look better tonight. They take on Western Illinois, 6:30 kick down in Champaign. If you missed it earlier this week on Wednesday, we chatted with Jim Madsen kind of previewing the Illini, the home game this week, and the Western Illinois game. So go check that out from Wednesday as well. That was a lot of fun. So, of course, we want to thank everyone. And then also we want to thank the people here. I should say Iowa, by the way. Opens tomorrow. Don't miss the Hawkeye Tailgate Show. I'll be doing that for the first time. The pregame radio show on the Hawkeye Radio Network in the Quad Cities. That is Vintage Radio 107.7. So make sure you tune in to that as well. Everyone have a great Labor Day weekend. We want to thank our guests, Rusty VanWetzinga, Don Umland, Mitch and Greg from View from the West. It was a fun show here at Pleasant Valley. We'll take the show on the road again next week as well, so we're excited about that. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors for allowing us to do this show each and every day here in the Quad Cities. Hungry Hobo, awesome sponsor. Rafferty Funeral Home, mobile party experience as well. Snoop's Chips and Salsa, and of course, Godfather's Pizza right here in the Quad Cities. On Monday, we'll be welcoming a new sponsor as well, Skiles Driving School in East Moline. Excited about that. So a lot to get to this weekend. Enjoy the football weekend, high school-wise, college-wise, and just think, we have so much this weekend. The NFL starting next week as well. So a lot to get to. We'll be enjoying it and talking about it all next week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Thank you guys so much for watching us live from Pleasant Valley High School. Enjoy your Friday night of